So I'll make it simpler. So we have a format. Let me let me just display that and talk about pivot tables. Control enter. Pivot tables. So let's do pivot tables where we are going to just start by the first thing is you need to convert your data to a table. That is the first step, converting your data to a table. After converting your data to a table, so how do you convert your data to a table? It's so simple. Select everything. So how do you select everything? Control A. So control plus A. Select all. So this is basically that is it. Control A. So how do I do that? On our data visualization and reports, just click on any cell in this data, then control A. The entire data set will be highlighted. So that is how to highlight an entire data set. After highlighting an entire data set, the next thing is press control T. Control control plus T plus T. This one converts your data now to a table. Converts your data to a table. Alternatively, you can go to insert, insert, then the next after insert is table. So how do I do that? After you have control A to highlight the entire data set, you can press control T. Similarly, you can go to insert, then the same thing. You can see converting creates a table to organize your data. So basically, if I click there, it will ask me where is the data, where is the data for your table. So what I'll do, I'll just it will select the entire data set. Then always make sure this is selected. My data has table. My data has table. So basically, make sure it's selected. Check it, then click OK. So when you convert your data to table, the first thing is it adds filters. So filters allow you to see, for example, how many customers do we have? We have about 4 customers, and these are repeated customers. That's why you can see they are 500, but these same customer are the one that you are supplying us. We are supplying actually products. We are only having 4 products: bottles, ice cubes, soft drinks, tonic. So you can see converting this data to table enables you to see summaries of your data. That is basically what it was written here. So if you look, create a table to organize your data and analyze the related data set. So basically it allows you to add filters that are very important. Again, you can always add filters without going to data. So if you highlight this entire column, if you highlight that entire column and come to home tab, then you can see there's a filter button here. So you can add filter, and you'll see filter will allow you to be able to quickly analyze your data set. I don't know whether you guys are getting that. I don't want to move so fast. I want you guys to get that. Can you try that the next 1 minute? Doris, are you able to do that? Ian? Doris, are you able to do that? Converting your data to table, adding filters without so that is basically a filter. So control A, control T, then that is basically the first step. Then you can remove duplicates. So duplicates are repeated observation. Same repeated observation. So how do I remove duplicates? Once you are assuming you're here, maybe you are at home button. If you click on this data set, there is what you call table design. I said Excel is about being keen. So if you look at this point, you'll see table design. There is a tab that has been added. So if you click on it, it will tell you remove duplicates. So if I click on it, just click OK again. It will tell you there are no duplicates. There are no duplicates. So I need you to be able to do that. Very simple. So there are no duplicates in this data set. So duplicates are repeated observation. So this thing, if it's assuming that is it, Then assuming I add a column here, so yeah, I can't add because this is already a table. So basically, this is now a table. And after that, it's very simple. The next thing is let's go to our questions. So the objective is to find sales per product. So how do I do sales per product? That takes us to the next step, inserting a pivot table. So a pivot table, how do we insert a pivot table? Go to insert, then pivot. Okay, so basically it's very simple. These are the two steps. Come to insert, then pivot table. Then it will ask you, do you want to create, choose where you want the pivot table to be. We want it in a new sheet or you want it in an existing sheet. So I'll always choose a new sheet, but follow the instructions. Sometimes they need it in an existing sheet. So what I'll do is basically click OK. It will open a new worksheet. Again, there is something here. If you look at your now the ribbon, we have some tabs have been added here. Okay. So once let me delete this one. So once you have converted your data into a table, so you come to insert. We are going to insert a pivot table now. The first question that we want to answer is sales per product. So we want to understand what are some of the sales for each of these products that we are selling. So in this case, come to insert, then pivot table, insert, then pivot table. So if you click insert pivot table, again there's a difference. If you look at this point, let me show you something. If you click at this down arrow, it asks you, do you want to insert from pivot table range, external data, or a data model? So in this case, we just want it from what? We want it from table range. So from table range, that is it. So just click there. Then there is choose where you want your pivot table to be placed actually. So we want it a new worksheet because we want sales per product. So this is going to be our new worksheet. The first thing I'll do, I'll rename this one sales per product. Sales per product. So rename it sales per product. Again, you'll see there is something here. Build a report. Choose a field from the pivot table list. Another thing that appears on the other side, the pivot table fields. And if you look at your ribbon, these are things that I said you need to be keen on. Look at something here, pivot table analyze. We have design as well. So we have design, we have pivot table analyze. So how do you go about these ones? So the first thing is we want to, I'm sure this one appears this way. This pivot table fields, I want you to click on this setting and you can change the appearance. For me, I'll go with this one side by side. I like it because I can see everything. So this is out of preference. If you prefer this one, if you prefer the default one, still okay. But for me, I'll go with this one. I'll change it to side by side. So we are doing sales per product. So the first thing is I'm just going to click on product. So if you click on product on these pivot table fields, it will be taken to the rows automatically. Then sales, look at sales in USD. Click on it, it will taken into the value. So anything that is number in most cases goes to what? The values, anything that is number, unless you drag it manually. So you can drag this thing manually. So the first thing is by checking just this checkbox. Alternatively, you can drag them. You can drag, then you can drag as well. Remember the types of cursor that we talked about. It means if you see this cursor, it allows you to drag and drop to other. So basically it's very, very simple. Can you try that in 1 minute? Doris, can you try that? Are you able to do that? Ian. Wapi? Ndio nianze. Oh yeah, these ones. I've said the first option. Once you have your, are you at this point? Are you at this point? So I'm saying you can just, the first way to do it, just click on products, click on sales. They will automatically adjust. It will automatically do for you. Go to the rows and column. Is it the same way you're seeing it here? Have you tried that? Inakuja hapo, si ndio? The second option is you might find that your rows, this one goes inakuja hapa. This is still correct. This is still correct. Products ikuja kwa column, this is still correct, okay? But look at that and this one. Which one would you prefer? The first one or the second one? Would you prefer this format or would you prefer this format? Exactly. So it's basically about, look at the band, the one that gives you the best appearance. How does it appear? How, can somebody, this one you can even make a comparison easily. This one it's kind of different. So it doesn't matter which, you can take it anywhere. This is still a correct pivot table, okay? So this is what you call a pivot table. So instead of having it that way, we can have it this way. The second thing, I want you to format these numbers. So highlight the numbers, come to home tab. There is a number formatting category here. So I want us to have comma so that at least you can see which value. Without this comma, I'm sure you guys cannot see. You cannot tell me which is the highest value here very easily. But if I add a comma, you'll be able to see. Again, reduce the decimal places. Make sure that it's zero decimal places by just adjusting it from this point. So I'm having this one. Now I can have numbers. Again, I can right click and sort them from the largest to the smallest. And I can now see tonic is the one giving me more cells. I don't know whether we guys are seeing whatever I'm talking about. Uh-huh. Are you able to format the numbers? Are you able to do sort them from the largest to the smallest? Uh-huh. Doris, is Doris there? Okay, I'm saying we can sort these numbers. We can format. There is what you call number formatting. So the thing is, we can only, don't highlight cells. You cannot, this is text. You can't sort it. That's why I'm highlighting from this point. So I come to this home tab, go to home tab, then number. Remember we still have these buttons here that has been temporarily added, these tabs. So we are at home tab. That is the first thing you need to know. I said it's about being keen. You need to know where you are at any point. So we are at home button. This is a comma. I want us to add a comma separator. So at least we have 1,000 separators here. Then you can see it has added some decimal places. I want you to reduce them by just clicking here. So this is to decrease, this is to increase. I don't know whether you think that. So decrease them, make sure you have zero. Again, I say sort them. So sorting is basically click on any of them, right click and sort from the largest to the smallest. So we can see the product that is giving us more sales within this company. Are you able to do that? There is- No, you are highlighting here. I want you to highlight numbers alone. If you try to highlight, that is basically what it does. Can you highlight numbers alone? The numbers alone. Can you share your screen to one? Okay. Okay, you can do them one by one. By just coming here, right? Click on it, then come this point. Add a decimal place. You can do them one by one. Are you able to do that? I want you to just delete this one, delete it, come back to your data. It's already go to insert, it's already table, go to insert, pivot table, then a new worksheet, name it sales per product, sales per product. Then from sales per product, come to this point, click product, click sales. Then I want you to highlight, go to home tab, insert a thousand separator. Then from there, you can add currency in USD. You can add currency as well. Now after that, I want you to sort them from the smallest to the largest. So you can see the one you're getting least sales is ice cubes. Uh-huh. Are you able to do that again, Doris? Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically, if you ever get a problem, just delete that file and start again. It's very simple, very simple. There's nothing like imekata, haiwezi kata, okay? Yeah, so that is basically how to format, how to make sure your numbers are well labeled. So again, the next thing is how do you go to the next, we do this next the next question. The next question is asking about sales per person. So come back to your data, insert, pivot table, that is it. So then the question is sales per person. So this is it, name it sales per person. Sales per person. Sales per person, then I want you to click on persons, salesperson, then click on sales. So basically that's simple. You can now see we have them very, this information that is so big has been summarized just from one click and another click. And you have your table. You have a summary of, you can talk about somebody being the highest, giving us the highest sale. So how do I do that again? Highlight, format, home tab, make it, because those are sales in USD. Again, add a thousand separator. You can sort them from the smallest to the largest. So sorting is optional. It's according to your preference. So the guy who's selling the list is Jackson, Michael Jackson. You can realize we have four salespersons. The first one being Michael Jackson, Ian Wright, Johnson, Nicolaudis. Then we have Hammer Simpson. So basically, it's very simple. The same procedure. I want to now go to. I want to go to the next question, which is the next question is sales per year. So go back to your data, come to insert, pivot table, a new worksheet, sales per year. Sales per year. So remember, this is sales per year now. So I'm going to click on sales, then year. But now you see sales and year both have been taken to what? The values. So if you look at this very well, you need to, because year is all just number. So Excel doesn't know how to differentiate uh, sales and year because it thinks that is they basically numbers. Both of them are numbers actually. So how do I do that? Just drag this one to the rows, the years, because you want to see across years. So you already know, you as a person, as an analyst, you're supposed to be able to know that years is supposed to be number. If I to add, because in this case it's adding these numbers. It's adding all the years that you're having. So you're not supposed to add them. So years is separate. That is basically why you're supposed to have it this way. Then Format the numbers the same procedure, highlight, come back to your decrease. You can add currency. So sales per year, which year did we have the most sales? It's 2013. The total sales across the 3 years has been 32,999,252. So basically that is the simplest way you can explain these things. So you can see pivot tables make the work so simple. So if I was to do this one, I would write several functions, if functions, to get the same information here. But now it's very simple. Can you guys try the next question? Sales per region. I want to see the sales per region, guys. Try sales per region. Go back to your data, insert sales and region. Very simple. Try that and let me know if you're able to do that. Mm-hmm. When you're done, let me know. Mm-hmm. Doris, are you done? Is it something you can do? Insert, yes, then this one, then sales per region. So this basically make sure you name it. The reason why you're naming it so that you don't, if you want sales per region, don't go sheet one, sheet two, you're trying to find it. So you can just go direct to it. So this is sales per year, sales per region. So it's very simple, sales per region, where we have sales, then region. Where is the region? Region is here. Then you can format these numbers, make them look nice. Okay. So you will do the last three as an assignment. The last three. So once we are done with that, you can insert a chart for this thing. So there is what you call pivot charts. But before we go there, I want us to look at, if I want to talk about something. So you can see this is sum. This is sum. Assuming you want average, you want average. How do you get that? Right click. If you right click, there is what you call pivot value field setting. Value field setting. So if you come here, assuming you want average, this is just summation of all of them. So if you want average, you want the maximum, you want the minimum, you want any other thing. So how do you get there? So this is what you call pivot field setting, value field setting, where you click on that setting, then you can change. You want count, you want average, you want according to your preference. So basically this is average sales for what? So now it turns to average sales per product. If you want to change it, for example, you can show these values as a grand total. So if you click this point, there is an option here, show the values as a grand as a percentage of the grand total. So you can see this highest sale is just 25.96% of the total sale. This guy is giving us 25%. That is a quarter of the total population. The second guy is giving us a quarter. Then there's almost everybody is giving us a quarter of 100. So basically, you can always show these values as a percentage of something. Look at that. So if you right click, there's this one. Summarize by count, average. Again, if you just right click, it's here. If you don't go to here, there is this one. You can summarize by average. You can summarize by what? By grand total. You can summarize by sum, product, mean. So there are more options again. If you click on that, it takes you to this point. You can even just count. So basically, it's very simple. I don't know whether you guys are getting these ones. They're very simple. You need to practice a lot with it. Just try them. Okay. Again, there's this one. Shows the values, percentage of the column, percentage of the row. Very simple. Then there's these buttons you're seeing here. There's, for example, design. Design, you can remove row headers. You can see I can remove row headers. I can remove column headers. So column headers are this one in green. Let me zoom in so that you can see. So if you come to view, there is this zoom the selection, and I'm going back to this point. I can remove the column headers. You can see what happens. That is basically what happens. That is what happens. You can have branded rows. So you can see branded rows. Now it's not just white. It's not just white. It is branded. So those are some of the things you'll be seeing. Again, you can even change it from this point. You can change the appearance, how it appears. It doesn't matter. You can have branded columns. Again, subtotals. You can have show, do not show. For this one, I'm not showing subtotals. So the subtotals are basically reasons. So you can decide not to show this grand total. So you can see we have a grand total here. So grand total off. You can see if I do it off, I don't have the grand total, but you can add it. Again, that is on a design table. So basically, these are some of the options you can have. So you can get the grand totals, you can remove them, you can add, you can like show compact form. So basically, these are things you can insert a blank line somewhere if you want to. These are basically things you can practice with. Again, there are more designs here. You can see if I so if you see something that it looks nice and you're like, how did somebody come up with it? So basically, there's a design that you can choose as well. There are several of them. Again, to get to those options, assuming you want it as a percentage, you can always come to this point. You can see this arrow here. If you click on this arrow here, there is what you call value field setting. So value field setting allows you to do what? To just change it to sum, average, mean, max, product. There are several of them. The standard deviation, and etc. So you have several of. You can just right click. There is that value field setting option here. There is summarizers. There is sort. There is value. Show value as what? Again, if you click here, you'll find the same option under value field settings. So that is something that was worth noting, and it's very important. Let me just go back to the normal view. That is 100. So we can insert what? We can insert charts for this one. So if I click here, if you come to pivot table analyze, there is pivot chart. If you come to insert, you can insert a chart as well here. You can see this can give me a chart. Very simple. You can have a chart. So we have several charts. Always go with the recommended. If you come to insert, assuming you want to sales per person and you want to insert a chart, just come to, if you are at home tab, click on it, come to insert, then go with the recommended. So this is the recommended. Click on it, then click OK. So what you do, just name it. This is sales per person. Sales per person. So a chart has to have a title. Again, you can right click and remove idle field buttons. So these are what we call field buttons. So if you right click on this one, these are field buttons. We don't need them. We just need a title and it's over. So just right click, then hide field buttons. Just hide them. And that is how your chart looks nice. Again, you'll realize there is something that has been added, format, design, and we have pivot chart. So the design here now, it's for charts. You can change the colors by just coming to this point. You can see these are basically colors you can change. You can change colors here. Again, these are chart styles, so I can choose a chart style that I prefer. You can see there are several. Again, if you click on this arrow, there are several chart styles. So these are depends on your preference, and I need you to practice more on them. These ones you cannot learn all of them in this class. Again, this is chart layout. So chart layout is basically how it appears. You can see these are chart layouts. So if somebody tells you I want chart layout number 1, then this is what you're supposed to have. If somebody says you want chart layout number 2, then come to design, then chart layout. And design is all, it's temporarily shown there, specifically if you select something. So let me go with that. You can see it doesn't have the borders, it doesn't have anything. So you have just the sales for these persons, and it is increasing. That is from the smallest to the largest. It's very simple. Fill color you can change. You can see there is an option here, chart area, format chart area. So this one is the second one, that you've been hired as an admin assistant for Kirimani Advocates, which provides legal services to various companies. You have a list of repeating names. Using a pivot table, count how many times each company name appear in the list. Keep the pivot table in this tab. Notice that this pivot table, so this is very important. Keep the pivot table in this tab. Notice that this pivot table is a list of list is a list comprised of each company name only occurring once. Then within the pivot table, put the list in this decreasing order based on the number of times the name appears on the list. So basically that is very simple. The first thing is highlight the entire data, Control A. So just come click anywhere this data, Control T, Control A, then come to insert, then insert a table, or just press Control T the way it's written there. Then make sure your table has headers. So once this data has been converted to tables, so you have a list of repeating company names. So at this point, don't remove duplicates. Don't remove duplicates at this point, because this is basically a different scenario where we are having repeating names. They want to see how many times they appear. So if we remove the duplicates, then this margin, it will just remain with one, and you will not have achieved the goal that you want. You want to see, I want to see how for example, this is asking you to use pivot table to count how many times each one appear. So how do I do that? Once I convert my data to table, I come to insert pivot table. Then now I don't go with new worksheet. I go with an existing worksheet. And the existing worksheet is here. Keep the pivot table in this tab. So this is a tab. So I'm going to click here. I want it to be here. Then I click OK. So just choose where you want it to be. Then you'll have it the same thing. So I'm going to check on it. Again, you can see it just give me one side. So you're like, where do I take the others? Drag it again to the value. So it will give you the number of times each company name appear. For example, Buttersworth appears 32 times. Randall's Road Shark appear about 37 times. Postcard Store appears 42 times. So basically, that is the number of times they appear. So the same thing, we could achieve them using several functions. So companies, I can have them. Let me show you how I can achieve this one. Company. So I'm going to use what you call unique, a function called unique. There's a function called unique. Then I light from here to here, Control Shift, then arrow down, press enter. So you can see I've come up with the same sorry, I want to make it somewhere. So these are going to be companies. I want them to appear on the same thing. So I'm going to start from there. The function is called unique. Doris, you might not have it because you're using 16. So I'm going to highlight the companies. So I click on the first one, I press on Control and Shift, hold them, then arrow down. Then what I do, I press OK. There's something called absolute referencing. I hope you guys are taught that. There's something called absolute referencing where you press on F4 on your keyboard. Then I press enter. So I have the names here, the unique names that are not repeating. That is what is the function unique does. It gives you the unique name that are not repeating. Then how do I do the next thing? So the next thing is I'm going to do is count if. So count if. So count if is my next function. So the range that I want to count if is this one. Then I use absolute referencing, comma. The next thing is the criteria. Criteria is like, for example, basically what I want to do. And that is absolute referencing. The others are relative. And look at that. I have the same thing that we have achieved using what? Just clicking, dragging and click. We dragged this one to this point. Let me clear everything. So look at this, how this one is easy. Look at how this one is easy. Just drag it to the rows, drag it to the values, and I've achieved the same thing. So look at that. Very simple. This one you can achieve it using count if, but if you're not so good at functions, this one, that's why pivot tables come handy. So the next question was, they want it in a decreasing order. So how do I do decreasing? Just right click, sort. Sort from a decreasing. So decreasing, it means largest to the smallest. So largest to the smallest, we have 42. I can sort this one as well. Let me highlight, then sort. largest to the smallest. And look at that, very simple. Did it sort? I think, did it sort? It didn't. Let me sort it again. Oh yeah, so I need to copy paste this one special so that it means copy alt HBV. So basically that is now I can now sort this one. I can now sort it using the function sort. Then look at that. Now you can see the same postcard is up here 42. So I can achieve this. I can achieve the same goal using a different function, but it will take me a lot just that than just converting this to table, then dragging them to the rows and columns. I don't know whether that is clear. The same to this one. They want you to exercise 2. There are 3 present segments that all companies are grouped into. So big, small. Using pivot table, create a table displaying revenue for each segment. Keep the pivot table in this tab. This is very key. So I'm going to Control A, Control T. Okay. Come to insert pivot table, an existing worksheet. So I will want it somewhere here. So just click here. Once you click on existing worksheet, then click this point, then click place where you want it to be. I want it to be next here. So the next thing they want what? Create a table displaying revenue for each segment. So we have segments. So I'll drag segment to the rows, then revenue to the values. Look at that, big, small. So we have them very simple. Then they've told you that large amounts over 100 so are typically shown with 0 decimal places. So zero decimal places. So highlight, come to home, reduce the decimal places, then add a comma. So basically you can see large amounts shown with typically 0 decimal place. That is basically what I talk about number format. And it's very simple. That is it. That is it. So I want you to do the rest up to number 8. I'm sure if you have any question, you will ask either me or Zipporah on these ones. So it's very simple. There is nothing difficult, but basically dragging, dropping, and dragging and dropping. And the same things you can do them using functions. But now functions are a lot. If you don't even remember there's a function called unique, you will never get the right answer. So I'll stop at that point unless there's a question.